Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Okay, so today, like I said, this is another one of those videos where I'm filming them when they're not exactly posted. But today, by the time you're seeing this, it's going to be Saturday, but by the time I'm filming this, it is Tuesday at like 7 o'clock in the afternoon, well, in the night. So the sky is still blue, but, because, you know, time's changed. But anyways, so next week, well, in the next couple of weeks, on March 31st, we will be getting the ultimate crossover of all time between Godzilla and King Kong, where they will battle to see who is the king of all monsters in the Monsterverse. And so leading up to that, I will be reviewing all of the Monsterverse films that I can try to do, because there's only 3. Now, before we get into the review of Kong Skull Island, I want to give a little bit of a background of why I didn't review Godzilla 2014 last week, and there's only one reason. It wasn't free. When I do these types of series, the movies need to be free. I can't just go out and buy them, because I couldn't go out and buy them. It can't be done. I'm sorry, but it can't be done. But with that said, let's get started talking about Kong Skull Island. Alright, so for me, Kong Skull Island was a really good movie. I really enjoyed this movie. Let's just start off with that. Okay, so for me, I think one of the best things that this movie does is that it crafts this world that is just so interesting. And the world of Skull Island is just fantastic. Granted, I don't really think that the title of the movie, like the title of the world, Skull Island, I don't really think it fits the world that we explored, the island that we explored, because, you know, it's not just skulls that are there. We have pterodactyls, we have these weird horned creatures. We have all these different creatures, and the only creatures that are skull-like are basically King Kong's parents. Like their bones, we actually see their bones, and really just the skull crawlers. That's really all the skull crawlers that's really all these skull type creatures we see, but that's it. But now let's just start talking about the good. Really, just the best thing about this movie is just the world, like I said, and also I thought the way we explored the characters is also interesting. Granted, the story is very straightforward. Especially when you enter when you get the introduction of John Goodman, you can see that the story is basically like all these other movies where this person wants to go to some place to figure out what is on this island so that way he could go back and prove to them that this creature is real. And granted, it's a story that we've seen many times before, but it's kind of done in a different way, and I kind of like that. And the way we get introduced to all these characters, it's pretty cool. And I think the big standouts here are probably Tom Hiddleston as well as John C. Reilly. Which John C. Reilly's character is this is probably the best character of the entire movie, where he was stuck on this island for like since World War II. I know this movie takes place during the 70s, but I forgot what year it was. And then, like, the way he's in this movie, he's just fantastic. He gets in on the action. He, like, knows I like how he knows a lot about the island. It is just fantastic. His arc is fantastic, and he gives us a lot of information about this island and what King Kong is like. Which, that's another thing. The way we learn about King Kong and his, like, purpose of why he's on this island, it honestly does it in a very cool way. So I like the way they did King Kong in this movie too. But also you gotta talk about the action sequences. The action sequences are handled so well. There's especially the King Kong fights when he is fighting the helicopters. At first, when I heard about it, I didn't really think that would be a good fight because honestly, when you think of a fight like that, it seems more better when you're doing it with a Hulk fight. But here, it's shot beautifully, especially when he's smashing the helicopters or throwing them into other helicopters. It is just beautiful to see with the explosions happening, and it's just great. Also, you gotta talk about the monster fights when he's taking down squids, fighting skull crawlers, and when he's fighting a big one. There's just a lot of things to like about this movie, and I love it. And even the human characters get in on the action, especially with Tom Hiddleston grabbing John C. Reilly's sword and killing pterodactyls. Now, I will say this. I heard somewhere in a review that the action sequences, with the type of action sequences that are in this movie, it should be rated R. And I definitely agree. But to be honest, they didn't show, like... Granted, they did have a curse word. John C. Reilly said the F word, but it's not really... I only heard it one time. And of course, Samuel L. Jackson almost said it until King Kong killed him. But yeah, this movie's a little bit too violent, and I feel like it should be rated R, but I kind of think it's PG-13, I guess. But I also like the character interactions as well. I especially like Tom Hiddleston's character. Well, the cast is good, but they don't have just great characters now that I think about it. So, let's move on to the bad now. And really, the first thing you gotta talk about is I kind of only have really like 2 issues with the movie. And that with Samuel L. Jackson's character, you don't really understand why he wants to go back in the war. Maybe it's just because he's like this former soldier. I don't know. But you don't really understand why he wants to kill Kong and why he wants... Now, there's a little bit of that you can understand, but not a lot. Also, I think some of the other characters besides John C. Reilly's character, they're not fleshed out very well. I mean, they have great chemistry with all the other characters, but they're just there because they were chosen by John Goodman's leads. They're not there because they had to be. They're not there because they wanted to. They were there just to be there because they were offered a job. And that's not great stuff. They had great chemistry with the characters, but not great arcs. That's just the thing. But yeah, that's really all my issues with the movie. Just some of the characters don't have great arcs, but great chemistry. And Samuel L. Jackson's character of being in the war doesn't make sense to me. But that's everything I didn't like about Kong Skull Island. So before I give you my score for the movie, be sure to tell me down below, what did you think about Kong Skull Island? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you right there in between? Let's get some nice discussions going. With that said, let's get started with my scores. Alright, so that is it for my Kong Skull Island review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram name is Marvel6, and my TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't understand those names, those names will be in my About section, and you can follow those social medias. Hopefully I can review Godzilla King of the Monsters. I probably won't because I haven't seen the first Godzilla, but I probably won't be ranking the Godzilla and King Kong movies like the MonsterVerse because I have not seen I won't be seeing the Godzilla movies. I'll just be seeing Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong. But that's it for today. See you guys tomorrow on Sunday, but technically it's Tuesday, but this video is posted Saturday, and tomorrow, today you're seeing this, tomorrow will be Sunday. But yeah, see you guys later.